A wooden girl accidentally falls from the overpass. A man who witnessed this thought she was a real person, so he jumped into the water without hesitation to save her. But after rescuing her, he discovered she wasn't human. She was just a wooden mannequin. After waiting for a long time, no one came to claim her. The man had no choice but to take her home. He carefully wiped the water off the mannequin, completely unaware that the wooden beauty suddenly smiled, but quickly turned back to wood. Mike took the mannequin back to the warehouse, quietly admiring the mannequin's beautiful appearance. Looking at the girl's delicate face and red lips, being single for 30 years, he couldn't help but kiss her. He felt the necklace didn't suit her. Mike simply took it off. The girl came to life. Mike was so startled he kept backing away. He doubted if he was hallucinating, until he felt the warmth from the girl's palm. Only then did he believe what was happening. Recalling how the girl called him Your Highness, Mike remembered a local legend. It was said that 1,000 years ago, a handsome prince fell in love with a beautiful peasant girl. Due to their vast difference in social status, their love was opposed by the queen. The queen obtained a necklace from a wizard. She asked the prince to put it on the girl, saying their love would last forever. The naive prince didn't think much of it, happily put the necklace on Annie. But Annie instantly turned into wood. The prince then realized something was wrong with the necklace. He begged his mother to break the spell, saying he would pay any price, even if it cost his life. The queen told him they needed to wait 1,000 years, until she meets a man who truly loves her. Only then would the spell naturally break. Thus Annie completely turned into wood, standing silently in the river of time, until Mike accidentally saved her 1,000 years later. And Mike looked exactly like the prince from 1,000 years ago. That's why Annie called him Your Highness. However, Mike knew he wasn't any prince. To convince Annie that it was now 1,000 years later, he specifically showed her a modern fire extinguisher. Unexpectedly, it scared Annie unconscious, but Annie still believed Mike was her beloved prince. Mike had to tell her about his background, but Annie remained firm, believing Mike was her beloved prince. Mike stopped arguing. He decided to first get Annie some new clothes, but then a strange sound was heard. It was Annie's stomach growling. She hadn't eaten for 1,000 years. Mike drove Annie to the street. Annie was deeply attracted by the bustling street scenes. Everything modern was new to her. She fell in love with this world. After Mike bought Annie some snacks, he started worrying about where Annie would stay. Learning that she was now homeless, Mike warmly invited her to stay at his place. But Annie misunderstood his intention. She shyly asked if he was married. Mike said he just found someone. Annie's mood instantly dropped after hearing this, but Mike turned and held the reins of a horse nearby, telling Annie this was his partner. Mike's playful gesture made Annie burst into happy laughter. To help Annie adapt to modern society more quickly, Mike not only took photo booth pictures with her, but also took her to a bar. Watching people dancing joyfully on the dance floor, Annie seemed eager to try. Mike saw right through her thoughts, so he took her to the center of the dance floor. Annie started dancing like Mike. Annie became the most beautiful girl on the dance floor. All the men's eyes were on her, but in her eyes, there was only Mike. Annie felt like she found the feeling she had when she was with the prince. She was certain that Mike was the one she had been looking for.